Simon, a bit of a pullback on the markets today. Would you agree that it's just a bit of profit taking after those strong gains we saw last week?
Absolutely. I think it actually started on Friday. We've been trading, if you look at the top 40, been trading about 23,200, 250. Late Friday, that pulled back. We gave back, closing at about 23,000. Another 400 off today. But significantly, we closed quite well off the lows. The sellers were very aggressive in the first couple of hours this morning, and then the buyers came back. We were red, but not down as much as one we could have been. And certainly, it's a case of profit taking more than anything in what it looks like.
Of course, we've seen a bit of a turnaround on the London market with the FTSE now trading just a few points higher, and of course we never know what the Dow might do by the close of trade. I mean, do you think we could then be in for a better day tomorrow?
Certainly, with the current indications of the FTSE, the Dow opened quite well down, but when I left my desk about 10 or 15 minutes ago, the Dow was almost green, sort of a couple of points into the red. There's every chance that it will close green this evening, and I think that will then see the buyers come back. And what we see in this market is that every time they're selling, the sellers are there, but the buyers just basically swallow them up. The sellers run out of ambition, and the buyers take over again.
Of course, we have the September's futures closeout approaching here in South Africa, and also the quadruple witching in the United States. So do you think that's just going to lead to some increased volatility on the market this week?
Absolutely. I mean, I was surprised today that the low volumes that we're going through. I'd expected a bigger Monday. Traditionally, I would have looked for closer to 10 billion. We were closer to 7 or 8 billion, so we were well off that. And in a sense, we got that volatility today. There'll be a jostling in the lead up to the futures. Sometimes it's a little bit quieter than other futures closeouts. The last one in June wasn't particularly spectacular, but certainly we'll see a lot of positioning ahead of it, that volatility on Thursday. But I don't think it's going to be too extreme, and I certainly think the bias is going to be bullish.
Of course, I was chatting to Nima Ramkalawan from RMB about the currency market, and she was saying this trade spat that's brewing between the United States and China has also added to a bit of anxiety in the market. Did you see that in the equity market as well?
Not particularly, no. Really, we were set off by the US closing red on Friday, and I think the Sasol results, which came out pre-open this morning, whilst the results were good, well, not good, were largely as expected. The dividend was perhaps a bit disappointing. That put some selling pressure down. I think the China-US trade spat is just that. It's a spat. They're going to have a lot of words. They're going to have a lot to say, but the reality, they need each other. They can't walk away.
And of course, as you said, Sasol under pressure, the share price down 2.6% today, and that was despite the 33% drop in full-year headline earnings a share, which was in line with their trading statement. Do you think the market was rather focusing on the forward-looking statement where it said 2010 earnings were likely to be below 2009 earnings?
I think the dividend played in, came at R6. I think they're massively cash generative and got hardly any debt. I think the market would have liked R7-ish. That was a bit disappointing, but you're 100% right. That statement for 2010, I think, was the real shocker. But they basically said, laid it on the cards on the table, they said 2010 is going to be lower than 2009. And I think a lot of people had expected next year to pick things up. So suddenly they had to adjust the numbers going forward.
I don't know if you had a look at the EOH results, but a lot more positive than Sasol's perhaps, and they showed a 26% rise in headline earnings per share, and I see the share price was up 11 to 12%, so very good results from that company.
Absolutely, and it's not a company I normally follow. The results came through, and I was frankly surprised. A really solid set of numbers across the board, pretty much numbers all up. And I think often you'll see the companies really balance sheet looking good, but their bottom line, their earnings are a little bit weaker in the line. Or revenue's good, but they can't get it through to earnings per share. These guys took it through all over the place. It was really good numbers, and the market rewards that in this type of environment. If you can come to the market with those sort of numbers that really impress people, you're going to see it flowing through into the share price.